Greetings. Welcome to the Level 2 second year ABC e-learning electrical apprenticeship program. My name is Mike Barley. I'll be your instructor for the year and glad that you guys are here. Looks like we have somewhere around 20 people in here. There's quite a few more people I'm sure that will be coming in as we get started, but I wanted to be respectful to your time and start on time. I would say this will definitely not max out at an hour. I would probably be a little bit shorter than that. And I also want to, at the end here, I'll open up some time where we can get some questions answered, things like that. Um, I believe there's quite a few people in this class. I'm assuming that a number of you actually are returning students. I think some may actually be maybe transferring from another program, that sort of thing. We have people in this program that are probably in Texas, Florida, the East Coast, Michigan. There's a lot of different people that are across the region that are in this program. So, first of all, I'll address books. Your books were mailed out. Let's see. I believe it was probably Friday. It depends on who you work for. One in particular company, we sent a huge amount of books to their office, and they were sending them out to you. Other than that, many of you, your books were mailed directly via UPS to you. So if you if you haven't, some of you probably already received your books. If you haven't received your books, you will. And if you do not receive them for some reason, I'd say within about a week's time, I would say by really by the end of this week, I would think everybody should get their books. So in your book set, you will have several books. You should have also received last year a 2023 National Electrical Code and along with tabs. So I would hope that you have your tabs already on your code book by now. Obviously, I think that many of you are probably returning students, and I wanted to take this opportunity to explain some things, explain how we are moving forward with the program, and some really a few changes. So let me to keep me on track. I'm going to get onto our PowerPoint. So, and I'll say in advance that this presentation is designed for everyone from a first year to a fourth year. So some of you guys that are returning, maybe you already know some of this stuff. Some of you might be transferring in from another program. This will be unfamiliar to you. So I'm trying to blanket this and make sure everybody understands what's going on. Let the journey begin. So very quickly, my name is Mike Barley, and I'll be your instructor. I'm a master electrician, master trainer. I'm a licensed educator in career and technical education, and also an author and manufacturer of training equipment. One of the books that you'll get is from Electric Lab, and that's actually my company. We use two things, or actually three: NFPA 70, which is our National Electrical Code, and we use MyCode Enterprises as our platform for learning, and we use Electric Lab for the hands-on type learning, which is something we're going to expand on this year. More on that in a sec. So the learning platform, again, for you guys that were in it last year, just hang on. This won't take long. I want to make sure everybody in the group understands how this all works. If you are new in the program, you're first of all, you're responsible for completing all of the assignments. These assignments will be released per semester. Don't get behind. I want to bring up that when you get your book set, each and every one of you will have this letter in the book set, and it has some dates, of when things are due, that sort of thing. And there's also a schedule of when we're going to be having Teams meetings, and we'll talk a bit about that here as the meeting goes on. But the assignments will be released per semester. So first semester assignments will be released the 25th, and you have until Christmas to actually get them completed. I believe we want those turned in by December 11th, and that date will come up later, so you can make note of it. And then the second semester assignments will be released, probably New Year's Day. That's what I'll do New Year's Day, is release those assignments for you. And then you have until April 16th to get those done. And I already had a question in my last meeting asking, well, why don't we just open up all of them and let you just, run amok through all of them? And the reason we don't do that is because if we do, there are some people who would just rush through them and not take the time to go through them thoroughly. there's a lot of material here. There's a lot of opportunity to do some deep dive learning, and we want everyone to operate at a certain pace. You also have to understand that we are a federally approved apprenticeship program, and the federal law for apprenticeship programs is hours, classroom hours, and on-the-job training. Well, I would assume that everybody in here is working for somebody, and you're getting your OJT, but the online training that we're doing also has to equal the amount of required hours for apprenticeship training. So now the learning platform, will be using the curriculum platform known as Capacitor, as we did last year, from Mike Holt Enterprises, and this will be the primary home base for all learning. And this is what the platform looks like. If you click on the line here that says code graphic of the day or code question of the day, they put a new one on there each day that is really just trying to spoon feed the code to you and give you some nuggets about the code to kind of get familiar with. I would be sure and look at that every day, because that will give you the opportunity to really get a little bit more familiar with it and kind of pick up those little pieces like that. I'll say this before I go any further. This particular class, as I said, I know they're from all over the place, but in Kentucky, which is where we are, or actually I'm in New Albany, Indiana, which is about 5 miles from Louisville, Kentucky. But in Kentucky, licensing for an electrician, what we do in our face-to-face class sessions, one of the things that we teach rigorously in our face-to-face class sessions here locally is how to pass your licensing exam by the time you complete level 2. The reason being is Kentucky state law says that after an individual has completed 2 years of the electrical apprenticeship and has at least 4,000 hours of on-the-job training, and if they were to take the journey level exam and successfully pass it, they can submit for a license and get a license in Kentucky. Now, again, I don't know where all of you guys are, but that's how we handle our program here. So you're going to see, last year you got up to probably your ankles maybe in the code. This year we're going in head first. We will be spending some time really learning more about the code and really doing a deep dive on that. We will have several Teams meetings that I will be teaching and doing PowerPoint presentations and discussions about the code and really trying to expand on that. So back to the presentation. The homepage looks like this. You'll receive an email from Mike Holt Enterprises to get you set up. If for some reason you haven't received that, first of all, I'm going to say give it a couple of days, because my colleague, our apprenticeship coordinator, Holly Baker, is entering 522 students, as a matter of fact, into the online platform Capacitor. So she's very busy. Might take her a couple of days to do that. If you don't see it in there within a couple of days, well, then send me an email, and we'll figure out why that hasn't happened or get it worked out. Now, to enter,
Excuse me.
I have a question. Yes.
I'm not seeing your screen.
Really?
Where you're showing the capacitor? Yeah, I don't see it.
That's because I wasn't sharing. I'm a better sharer than that. Terribly sorry. Oh, where'd my screen go? I've been talking for 10 minutes and somebody just told me that.
We can see it now.
All right. Well, I'll go back. And I had this great screen for you to see. So we saw that, or you didn't see that, but now you're seeing it. And then you saw this slide. There's me in Florida, master electrician. Quick review. Per semester, Mike Holt. And we're right here. Okay, you guys are all second-year students, so some of that was kind of a rehash. When you click on the enter class, and thank you, Hannah. When you click on enter class, that's where you enter in to get to the work that you're going to be doing. Once you click on that, you'll see each one of these assignments listed out, and we'll open up all of the assignments up to what is according to what I have is what's called a pacing guide of what you're expected to get done between now and Christmas. I'll open up all of those assignments, and then, then in January, I'll open up the second semester. Here's another thing. What you have to consider is this. I'll also be doing Zoom meetings, which I'll talk about the schedule here in a little bit. We'll be doing Teams meetings, that will also integrate other learning. We also anticipate integrating other learning that might be hands-on based. I have a brand new lab at the school that I teach in New Albany, and I intend to do some, let's call them remotes. We'll get in there and actually do some demonstrations, things like that, to where we can maximize the hands-on part of this, because obviously it's very difficult to get you to a lab or anything like that to get the hands-on part of this. I'm under the assumption that there are many of you in here that are going through this because you want to be a licensed electrician, you'd like to be, a skilled worker in this trade. And so we want to make sure that we are doing everything we can to provide that for you. I also know that there are some of you that work for a company that actually provide, you're in this program and you may be a project engineer or project manager, and you may not be going for the licensure or what I was just talking about, but they want you to know all the other parameters of this despite that. So everybody's kind of heading in the same direction, and maybe for a couple of different reasons. Now, once you click into the actual enter the class work, then it'll have this as an example here, and you might see up here in the corner where it says quiz 1 through 10. There's 10 questions there. You also might see another icon on the other side of the page that will say video. You should watch the videos. Then the reason those are in there, those actually help expand, your learning. Those videos oftentimes might be some type of demonstration, or might be Mike Holt and the team talking about an in particular subject. I can't stress enough that you're going to be really kind of going next level in your learning. Obviously, this is escalatory, going up in your learning as the years go by. This year is gunpowder soup as far as code. Next year will be motor control. And then the fourth year is again heavy duty code and PLCs. Now, over here to the left of the screen, it says review material. When you click on that, that opens up the wide world of books. When you click on review material, it says, okay, first of all, it says, select your subject. So if you were to page down through this, you pick out which book that you're looking for. Now, unfortunately, the top of my screen is showing 2020. I want to make sure you make a note of this. We are not using the 2020 National Electrical Code. We won't be using any of these that says 2020. We'll only be using stuff that is dated for the 2023. And I'm talking about the code cycle that we're in. So, if you page down, you'll have to look for that particular book. And as you go through the curriculum, it'll tell you we're using the assignment is using fundamentals and NEC calculations. Or we'll use this, and as you can see, this is a big book, Understanding the National Electrical Code. This is the guidepost for a lot of the learning that will happen this year. So when you get on there, it'll tell you which book you got to get into. Now, let me back up and say one more thing about that. When you click on that, you open it up, and there will be, first of all the Mike Holt books are in electronic form. So if you were remote, you didn't have your book set with you, it's not like you don't have the book. The books are actually in there in their entirety. All the Mike Holt ones. Now, some of the other books, the J.J. Keller book and the Fluke Digital Multimeters book, that whole book is not in there like that. Those aren't their publications. But all of Mike's books are in there. There's also videos, a tab that has videos, and a tab that has all the PowerPoint presentations. Some of the PowerPoint presentations I will actually do in our Teams meetings, because I want to have opportunity for specific bullet point subjects that I want to bring in to our Teams meetings and teach on. And don't worry, there won't be no 4-hour Teams meetings. I'll still keep them to probably about an hour at the most. And then your grades, just so everybody understands the grade situation. You click on that tab, you can see where your grade is. So we click on this one here, you can see nothing's been done here. This guy's name's Tony Stark. It doesn't say that he's done any work. But if he had, I would see a score, and I would see how much time he spent on it. Again, apprenticeship is about on-the-job training, classroom hours. So if I go in there and I see you got like a 50% on something, but I look at the time and you spent 4 minutes on it, well, that explains some things. Going through this material, this is not like reading a romance novel. This is reading technical data. So when you read it, maybe reading it once wasn't enough. use the books you got in front of you. There's the graphics that are in My Coach material are great as far as helping really drive home a point and explain it. And so use the resources that you have available. Now, up here at the top, you can email me, and that little envelope is how you actually can send it through Capacitor. At the end of this, I'll also show you my email address, and so you can email me that way, or you can email me through the Capacitor. And if you have questions or you have any kind of concerns, you can send that contact to me. But email is the best way to connect with me. I do not. I check my email who knows how many times a day. So I'm on top of it. Allow me 24 hours to respond, especially if you have like a code question that I might have to, kind of figure it out and then provide you that information back. But I do try to provide responses at the very least within 24 hours. Now, for those of you that were in the program last year, we had the skills competencies book that was a part of what you were required to get filled out and get these competencies done. And I want to kind of back up for a second and explain, because I know there's some people that are new in the program. This book is called Electrical Apprenticeship Skills Competencies, hands-on skills required for an electrical apprentice. The reason we have this book is because we want everyone to understand what you should have experienced, hands-on in the field in order to complete the entire apprenticeship. There are certain things that we feel that you should have experienced by the time you get through a 4-year apprenticeship in order to be deemed what's called a completer. In other words, you're a well-rounded person that's went through the program. These 4 books are what are given out to each one of the apprentices or in your book set. First year was branch circuit wiring and switch control. I believe there was a video connect that you could watch on my YouTube channel on that. We're going to do a little bit better this year, or a lot better this year, as far as connecting with some more interactive stuff or enhanced learning for that. This year, it's conduit bending. So, and in that book, there are actually some interactive videos on there too. But we're going to do a little bit more with that also. 3rd year is industrial control systems, and 4th year is programmable control systems. But each one of those is broken out into level 1, level 2, level 3, and level 4. Last year was, I believe, the first year we integrated this into the program. And, to be honest with you, we've changed our plan on this a little bit, because trying to get everybody to send the books back once they've got them signed. Are they supposed to keep them for all 4 years? Do they just keep them for 1 year? What happens if I don't get them all signed? The reason that I started doing this to begin with is because I am trying to make sure that you don't get cheated in your education because you're in an e-learning format. So this is really giving the guidepost for that. What I expected was that you would take it to your employer or the project manager or the superintendent or the journeyman or master that you're working with, who can actually help you make sure that you get these experiences. You're only expected to do, level 1, you can do that. If you were in first year. Level 2, you're expected to have those experiences in level 2. I am not asking anyone to send this book back to me anymore. What this is for you to know what that grocery list of experiences are. What I would like everyone to do is to take this, and then as you're going through it, as you're on the job sites, locate these things that you need to get done and then get them signed off. Not so you can send it back to me, but when you have completed your apprenticeship, that you've had the list of things you need to make sure that you've gotten done, so you've experienced them. That's what it's for. It really became just too arduous trying to navigate back and forth. We have some folks who, as I said, are project engineers, and they're not physically working in the field, so really difficult for them to get those experiences. And others that may not be on the right job site for that type of stuff. The goal is for you to, over time, to complete all of them. So that being said, if you were in 2nd year, but you happen to come across an experience that was in 3rd year, in level 3 skills competencies, then by all means, get that signed off, go ahead and do it. But we are not any further requiring that you return this book back to us. We want you to use this as a guidepost, but we want you to also, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I also want you to put it on your employers and your fellow workers to help you get that experience. Because, for example, we have, over 500 apprentices in school with us. all over the state of Kentucky. And we have 4 different training facilities that have great labs in them where we're doing this hands-on training. When you're in e-learning, that's not something that you're able to experience because many of you might be on a travel base or you're just working remotely, something to that effect. For whatever reason, you've chosen the e-learning platform to do your education. So, we're trying to compensate for that as best we can. Lab-based learning books will still be a part of the book set, and learning will take place regarding these subjects. So we're going to interact a bit. With no access to a lab facility, you will need to request this learning through your company, supervisor, or project manager. And the Skills Competencies book is provided to give a guideline of the skills or experiences required to be considered a completer. It is an encouragement to pursue the opportunity to have those experiences and will need to be provided by your employer. Okay. Trying to keep an eye on the chat and make sure somebody's not asking me a question too. Final grades. Failure to complete all the assignments on Capacitor will result in failing the course. So when I showed you that, what happens is, let's say, let's go to the nth degree here. You get to the end of the school year, you get to the end of the semester, whatever, and you haven't completed the assignments that you're supposed to complete. You get to the end of the school year and you got 10 assignments you haven't completed. I'm going to go in there and X those out to where you can't, and then that's going to affect your grade. So you may look on Capacitor and say, well, I've got 10 assignments that I haven't done, but it still says I have a 95%. Well, that's because I haven't went in there and cut all those out. We would do that at the end of the year, and then that's going to drop your grade because all of the assignments are expected to be done. This program depends on you putting forth the effort to ensure completion of all course and skills competencies. Make notes of these dates, and like I said, if you miss it, this is actually going to be in the book set that you're going to get that has all of these dates explained in it. All first semester work must be submitted by December 11th. All second semester work must be submitted by April 16th. Now, Teams meetings, that's what we're going to be doing. Teams meetings will be held per the provided schedule that was placed in your book set. And there it is. This will be in your book set. I'm also getting ready to pull it up on the screen too. So all students are expected to attend. There will be teaching time and some demonstrations. So here's the schedule. So second year, it's a column, a top to bottom column. We're meeting tonight. It is the 19th of August. The next meeting will be the 16th of September. And then so on and so forth. And we'll have meetings all the way to the very end. And these will be teaching experiences also. And at that point, we'll answer questions and that sort of thing. The instructor reserves the right to cancel, postpone, or add additional meetings as needed. This has been provided to give students expectations as to when live class sessions will be held. Let's see. Are the meetings always at this time? Yes, they are. Is this not a good time for you, Zach? Or talk to me. Tell me what the concern is, if there is one. Because I'm typically hitting 5:30 Eastern Standard Time. That's to be honest with you, that's the time that we start classes in face-to-face class sessions. So, if everybody's having trouble getting to these, it's not a really big deal to me that I can move it to 6 o'clock. But I don't really want to be doing them at 9 o'clock at night, and I don't think you do either. So,
no, you're good, Michael. The time is good. I'm just trying to get information so that we can relate it to our boss because they want us to do the classwork like while we're at a plant. So we're probably going to be doing that, but just want to be able to relay to our boss that, hey, we're going to have these meetings that are typically after our normal work hours so that we can get paid for the time.
Outstanding. Good for you. These meetings will be 8 hours? No. Good for you. Yeah, that sounds great. So that's when our meetings will be occurring. Your books are your responsibility. Once you get them, they're yours to keep. Like I said, you don't have to send anything back to me. I had an unbelievable pile of those skills competencies book come back to me. But, your code book is yours. I would hope that your code book has your tabs already installed in it. make sure you've got that because we're going to take off like a roller coaster on the code here once we get rolling. So make sure you've got your tabs in them. If for some reason you haven't put the tabs in your code book yet, read the directions, because when you put the tabs in these code books, the specific directions, they'll have you starting about an inch down from the top and an inch up from the bottom. There's a reason for that. It helps keep them from getting the tabs torn off. And you put a tab on there and it's not where you want it. It's kind of like a tattoo trying to get it back off. The page is probably coming with it. So, but keep your books as you escalate. And as I said, you're going to need this year. This was a book that you got last year, Digital Multimeter Principles from Fluke. You're going to need that this year. So, hopefully you still have your book set from last year. I am your contact point for the course, assignments, and in general instruction, and I can be reached at this email, mike@abcindianakentucky.org, or message me through the capacitor. I look forward to working with you to have a successful and gainful educational experience. Of course I do. The goal is that I can be more of a resource to you. If you were in this program last year, I'm always looking to improve the situation. Okay, I got it. Thank you. I'm always looking to improve the situation as best we can and have the best online course that we possibly can. So, this year we are expanding. There is going to be more contact. That's the idea. I am the instructor for all 4 years. So I'll be having separate meetings with all of those different levels. So when you'll probably get the notice for the teams meetings, probably the day before, and I'm not going to send them a week before because, if something happens, I'd have to cancel. And secondly, if I send that out in an email, well, you know how those emails are, it rides down and then you miss it. I'll send it out probably the night before or the day before, and then I will do, I will be starting these promptly at 5:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and they will usually run somewhere around an hour. Okay. The conduit bending book, I think I'd mentioned that, but the conduit bending book is the hands-on book that you'll get this year. Throughout the book, there are some videos that you can check out as far as doing conduit bending, and there'll be some other things as the year goes on that will be expanded on as far as conduit bending is concerned. Does anybody have any questions for me? I'm very good at talking, but not taking in questions, so trying to do better at that.
I'll have some questions at the end, if you don't mind. It's not about the class, it's about enrolling in classes.
Okay. All right. Well, anybody else? Well, Hannah, go ahead if you have a question, unless you wanted it to be a private conversation, but ask your question.
So I do orientation for the company I work for, and we are going to have some new hires next week, and they are going to be signing up for the virtual class. I just want to make
Okay.
sure that that is still okay.
Yes, and I am. I just did another first year orientation an hour ago, and I recorded it, and I'm recording this meeting also. So I'm going to post those on my YouTube channel. So when they sign up, have them email me, and I'll send them the link, and they can go to the YouTube channel and get the orientation. After this week, I'm doing third year tomorrow night, fourth year Thursday, and then I'm done with orientation. But I'll have those in recorded form on my YouTube channel, and they'll be able to go there and watch the video. And then if they got questions beyond that, they can email me. That's pretty much how it's going to be handled. But yes, I think our official drop date is 1st of September. It's in September. I can't remember when it is, but our cutoff date, I should say, for these classes.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
No problem. Okay. Stephen Pipkin didn't get tabs. Then if you will send me an email, I'll send you some tabs, brother. I'll hook you up. I have like a big box of these. So, just send me an email, mike@abcindianakentucky.org. Do me a favor, throw your mailing address on there or wherever you want me to mail them to so I don't have to go look it up, and I'll get them in the mail to you right away. All right. Anybody else got any questions? I know, typically what happens here is you get off here and you're like, oh, I should have asked that question. feel free to send me an email. I totally expect that. And, you know, I want to make sure that everybody's clear on how this works. So, or, you know, in the next meeting, we'll certainly have opportunity to answer questions also. Is there a video on how to do the tabs? You know, I think Mike Holt has a video on how to do the tabs. If you'll Google that, or go to his MikeHolt.com and go to his website and look for videos, I'm pretty sure he has a video on it. There are instructions in here that tell you how to do it, and they're really simple. You just got to, you know, I was kind of maybe a tad bit exaggerating, but you just got to make sure when you're putting them on, you got them where they're supposed to go. It's not, you know, to be honest with you, I don't have my code book sitting around here. I've just got one that doesn't have tabs on it. But you just want to make sure you get them in the right spot because it's, you know, it's very important that you are getting them in the right spot. By the way, I do want to mention to all who, you know, you get to the end of this year, we are on the 2023 NEC. The 2026 edition will be out probably this fall. So those of you who would be at the end of this year interested in actually taking your licensing exam, keep that in mind. Now, you know, I don't know what state you're in or what area they might be as far as or how they're going to handle adoption. The state of Kentucky, I doubt very seriously they'll be adopting the 2026 right away. They adopted the 2023 January 1 of 2025. So it took them a couple of years to figure it out. Not every state is that way. So, you know, it depends on where you're actually at as to how that plays out. But I recommend and will encourage this entire year, this level, I would try to be taking my exam next summer at the latest, because here's the thing. When they adopt the 2026, we are in a stage with the National Electrical Code. They started it in the 2020. They are making some changes to the code book, and they are rearranging the code book. The goal is, and if you go to nfpa.org, you'll find it on their website, they are intending to rearrange the code book totally by 2029. In other words, table 310.16, our beloved ampacity table, is going to be something else, along with a number of other areas of the code book. Why are they doing that? Why are they torturing us with that? Because they always are looking to improve the book and make it more user-friendly. I know it doesn't always feel that way, but that's what they are attempting to do. So that being said, you as a second-year apprentice, you know, you got the test coming up. You probably want to test under the 2023 before they do all that, and then you got to figure out that. Now, I can tell you right now, you being a second-year student, by the time we get into the spring, I'll have the new code book and I'll have some knowledge of it, and I'll probably bring that into some of these Teams meetings. I teach a lot of continuing education classes, and I'm very much into that, so it's inevitable. It'll become a part of the class. But you're going to want to test out on that probably before the advancement of the code, because that will just kind of make things a little bit harder, would be my guess. Okay? Anybody else got any questions? I'm looking at the chat. All right. Well, hey, looking forward to a great year. Looking forward to see your, maybe not your faces, but your little icons. Maybe one time we'll just say, everybody, let me see your faces. Chances are I probably don't want to see them because you might be asleep now or watching TV or something, and I would just be hurt. So be a pleasure spending the year with you, and look forward to seeing you at the next meeting. So that'll be all for tonight. Thank you all very much. We'll see you.